A Global TV News Express Samfara allows the College of Education's role in education reform. Africa CDC warns of soaring debt from antimicrobial resistance. On the business, CBN promises sustainable banking practices. On the forward, seeing Harris to unveil plan for U.S. economy. On the sports, FIFA ranking Super Falcons return 36th spots globally and remain first in Africa. Hello and welcome to all of viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Edikan Michael. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTime channel 276. And now the details of the news. The Nigeria Labour Congress has accused the government of declaring war against the union following the recent raid on its headquarters by security forces. At a press conference in Abuja, the NLC spokesperson Benson Okpa rejected the police explanation for invasion and demanded an apology, return of seized items, and release of detained individuals. Our correspondent completes the story. Following the security agent raid on July 7, 2024 on the NLC National Secretariat in Abuja, the NLC spokesperson Benson Okpa criticized the government attempt to interfere with the union's internal affairs, including a proposed reduction in the tenure of the trade union leaders. He urged that the action violated labor laws and international conventions.
The return of the books, publications, and other items or valuables removed from Congress premises. An immediate apology from the police and federal government to Congress for the invasion and discretion of Congress headquarters.
NLC spokesman reiterated that NLC did not participate in the end hunger protest. The Congress therefore demand the release of its member in the government custody.
Immediate and unconditional release of everybody detained in connection with the protest. Government to stop criminalizing lawful protests, as well as put an end to the continued harassment of people who hold dissenting views to government.
It will be recalled that the Department of State Service, through its spokesman Peter Ofunaya, denied involvement in the raid. Also, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Betukun, confirmed that the raid was carried out by the police, saying a terrorist involved in Sudanese crisis was traced to be a shop near the Labour Building. Edikan Michael, Global TV News. The Armed Forces of Nigeria says troops on the front line across the troubled areas in Nigeria have neutralized 147 terrorists, arresting 381 persons. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, made this known while keeping our journalists abreast with the operational activities of the troops in the theater of operations. Our correspondent Kikolomo Kere has the details.
The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, says troops also arrested 23 perpetrators of oil theft and rescued 113 kidnapped hostages. He further stated that in the last 2 weeks, the armed forces has rejigged war against crude oil theft operations in the Niger Delta region, which has begun to yield noticeable increase in the nation's crude oil production.
Accordingly, troops will sustain the renewed vigor and momentum till the nation's crude oil production target is achieved and exceeded.
General Buba further stated that the ongoing operation across other parts of the country remain focused on defeating and killing the enemy wherever they are.
Troops neutralized 147 terrorists and arrested 381 of them. We also arrested 23 perpetrators of oil theft and rescued 113 kidnapped hostages during the period under review.
The Military High Command, however, urged the citizens to collaborate with the armed forces to win the war against insurgency. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The federal government has assured Nigerians of resilience and self-reliant in the production of defense equipment for national security development. Our Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Matawalle, stated this while declaring close to the African Defense Industries Conference in Abuja. Kikolo Mokere has the details.
The two-day event to celebrate the 60th Defense Industry Corporation anniversary and the inaugural African Defense Industry Conference in Abuja was a platform to showcase Nigeria and Africa's indigenous production of defense technology and journey to attaining self-reliance. The Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Matawalle, while declaring close the conference, says the event highlighted the country's roadmap and resilience in achieving self-reliance in defense technology and innovation.
We have witnessed unparalleled showcase of innovation, collaboration, and expertise emanating from our indigenous defense industry and the foreign partners. This event has not only highlighted the progress we have made, but also set the pace for a future where our nation stands resilient and self-reliant in matters of defense.
Chairman Senate Committee on Repatriation, Senator Ned Nwoko, says Nigeria has the capacity to produce defense technology.
We have the manpower and we also have the resourcefulness to be able to produce anything that we need and compete with other countries.
It is expected that stakeholders present at the conference will work towards implementing recommendations reached during the two-day in promoting African indigenous defense technology. Kelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The governor of Cross River State has tasked the newly unveiled Local Government Service Commission to uphold their primary responsibility with unflinching dedication and prospects to move the state. While speaking during the inauguration ceremony of the 7th Member Commission held in Calabar, Governor Otu stressed on the critical role of local government in the broader agenda of his administration. He described the unveiling as not just a routine exercise, but an essential step in the strategic direction of his administration in line with the People's First agenda. Away from that, the Senate tackled one of its members, Senator Similia Kawu, over his claim of receiving 21 million monthly in salary and allowances. A Senate spokesperson, Yemi Ademarodu, says that Kawu's claim was not true. The controversy around the alleged managerial pay of the National Assembly members came to the fore once again after President Olusegun Obasanjo at the weekend said the lawmakers fix their own pay. And following the notice of an impending protest by the aviation unions in the country, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has appealed to the workers for calm, promising that the federal government will find a lasting solution that balances both the fiscal needs of the government and the operational requirements of the aviation agencies. This is contained in the statement signed by the minister. Barely 24 hours ago, the union described the continuous deduction of 50% of revenue of the federal government agencies managing and regulating the aviation industry. Senator Shehu Buba Umar of the All Progressive Congress has reacted to the withdrawal of the Majudani Bauchi, his chieftain Sitatu, for allegedly insulting the state governor Baba Mohammed. In a letter addressed to the Emir of Bauchi, the Senate Committee Chairman of National Security and Intelligence expressed his shock over the decision, noting that he adheres to the policy of constructive criticism, refraining from the use of insulting or abusive language. Omar says his response to Bala's disparaging comment about President Bola Tinubu was aimed at defending the Nigerian leader against what he perceived as calculated attempt to tarnish his reputation and so the public discard that could threaten national security. End of the quote. The Zamfara State Governor Daud Lawal has described the Federal College of Education Technical, GOSA, as a platform that nurtures and produces qualified teachers for public schools in the area. Lawal spoke when the Governing Council paid him a courtesy visit at the Government House. A statement by the Governor's spokesman, Suleiman Idris, explained that the visit was part of an effort at improving the synergy between the state government and the FCET in GOSA. Around 3 drug kingpins and 16 other offenders have been convicted and sentenced to a total of 202 years in prison for trafficking and dealing in illicit drugs. The drugs they were accused of trafficking are cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and the cannabis and opioids, among others. A statement by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency spokesperson Femi Babafemi reveals that the 19 convicts lead the list of 414 drug traffickers and dealers convicted by the Federal High Court across Benue, Bauchi, Edo, Lagos, Ogun, Gombe, and the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja between July 1st and 31st, 2024, following the charges brought against them by the end of the NDLEA. A fire broke out at a 7-story building in Sani Adewale Street, Lagos Island, Lagos State area in the early hours of Friday. The director of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, Margaret Adesanya, disclosed this in a statement via his ex handle. She says the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service received a distress call at 5:17 hours and dispatched the firefighters from Ebuta, Elofun, Esari, and Lekki Phase 1 stations. Preliminary investigations indicate that an electrical surge might have caused the fire, which affected several shops within the building, but no casualties were recorded. Moving forward in the news, the likelihood of falling ill or dying from disease that resists treatment has escalated in Africa, with children and other vulnerable groups being most at risk. According to a new report by the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the report reveals that Africa bears a significant burden of infectious disease, accounting for approximately 95% of malaria death, 70% of people living with HIV, and 25% of TB death globally. The Lagos State government has announced plans to divert traffic at the Kejala Long bus stop between the Ile-Ezix and the Konoy filling stations at the Oshodi-bound lane of the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. According to an announcement, the diversion will be for 2 days from Saturday, August 17, 2024 to Sunday, August 18, 2024 between 12 midnight and 4 a.m. daily. The diversion is meant to allow workers to safely demolish the old pedestrian bridge in the area. You're watching News Express coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on DSTV channel 365. When the News Express returns, CBN promises sustainable banking practices. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us on News Express. Now to the rest of the news to business. The Central Bank of Nigeria has started its commitment to promote sustainable banking practices through the adoption of international financial reporting standards as part of a broader strategy to attract the foreign investment and achieve economic growth. The governor of the CBN, Olayemi Kadoso, says the move aligns with the federal government's goal to reach a gross domestic product of $1 trillion by 2031. He started these at a regulatory roundtable on the implementation of the sustainability reporting standards in Nigeria held in Abuja. And now the Academic Staff Union of Universities has cried out against the huge power bills paid by universities in the country, estimated at 235 billion naira annually following the recent increase in electricity tariff. The national president, ASU Professor Emmanuel Sodike, called for per-unit billing as the university's power bill rose by 300%, hitting the 21.480 billion monthly now. The universities are under Band A, where customers enjoy electricity for at least 20 hours daily. However, many of the universities have cried out over their soaring electricity bills following the new policy. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has disclosed that another 63 illegal refineries were discovered and confiscated in the past week. It was revealed in a documentary that the fight against oil theft was yielding results. According to an NPC, about 177 incidents were recorded between August 3rd and 9 by different incident sources. It noted that during the week under review, 19 illegal pipeline connections were recovered, while some underwent repairs across the several locations in Bayelsa and Rivers State. And on the foreign scene, United States Vice President Kamala Harris is expected to take an The second company is unfairly jacking up prices as she set out her economic agenda on Friday in her first major policy announcement as the Democratic Party's presidential nominee. The vice president, who replaced President Joe Biden atop the ticket last month, has been carried by surging enthusiasm, bolstered by the new government figures this week showing inflation cooling. More Americans now trust Harris to handle the economy than our Republican rival Donald Trump, according to the new Universities of Michigan poll, the first time in the election cycle that the former president has been behind on the issue. And on to sport news, Nigeria's senior men's basketball team, the Tigers, have dropped 4 places in the latest FIBA ranking. The Tigers slumped from the 39th to 42nd position in the world ranking, and the former African champions tallied 299.7 points during the month under review to occupy 6th position on the continent. South Sudan hopped from 34th to 23rd in the FIBA world ranking to become the top-ranked African team, overtaking the Côte d'Ivoire. Nigeria's senior women's football team, the Super Falcons, have retained their 36th position in the latest global ranking by the Federation International Football Association. The Falcons also maintain their position as the top-ranked women's football team in Africa. And this ranking follows their disappointing performance at the recently concluded Women's Summer Olympics football event in Paris, France. The Falcons failed to progress to the quarterfinals after suffering 3 consecutive defeats, losing 1-0 to Brazil and Spain and a heavy 3-1 defeat to Japan, finishing at the bottom of Group C. And as we wrap up the Global News Express, let's take a look at our top stories. Zamfara lauds the College of Education's role in education reform. Africa CDC warns of soaring threat from antimicrobial resistance. And the business CBN promises sustainable banking practices. At the first, we told you Harris to unveil plan for U.S. economy. On the spot, Super Falcons return 36th in the FIFA ranking. And that is it on News Express, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now shown on the screen. I'm Adika Mike. Many thanks for watching and staying with us on the News Express. See you again.